who is known for famously directing a prison yard choir with just a toothbrush. Well, today I want to tell you about an English composer and activist and writer by the name of Ethel Smyth. Now, Miss Smith was born in 1858 in Sidcup, England, to a strict upper middle class military family. Her father was a major general in the Royal Artillery, and he was very strict, and she was very spunky. He believed that a woman should never aspire to professional life, and especially not a musical life, and so he forbade her to do music. Now, by the time she was 12, she loved music, and she also was spunky, as I said, and she said, "I'm going to be a composer." He said no. When she was 14, she decided she was going to go on strike. She would no longer speak, and she would no longer participate in family functions. This went on for several years, guys, and by the time she was 19, she did go out and start studying music. At 19 now, she is at the Leipzig Conservatory, and she is immersed in music. She is studying Mendelssohn, Schumann, Grieg, and she meets people. She meets Brahms, Tchaikovsky, Dvorak, Clara Schumann. She immerses herself in the art movement and gets to know how people think and what they're looking at, like not just music-wise, but like what are the issues that we're dealing with? What are the things that are bothering us? And she becomes very involved in all of it. She is loving her freedom. She's so excited in studying music, but her father's not the only one that's like, women really shouldn't do music. A lot of society believed this, and there were even places that would forbid women to compose, maybe perform, but definitely not compose. But she obviously didn't care, so she composed anyway, and she wrote beautiful choral works and chamber ensembles and pieces, and she wrote orchestral pieces. She also wrote operas. She was actually the first woman to ever have an opera performed at the Metropolitan Opera in New York. In 1910, she joined the Women's Social and Political Union, and this is a British suffragette movement. And she doesn't just kind of join on the side. No, she composes a march, the March of the Women, and anytime these women go and march or go and do anything, they are singing her song, and it becomes their anthem. But also she does more than just that. When the activism turned militant, she joined and she participated in acts of civil disobedience. She was probably very angry. I mean, we know from young on she believes in equality of men and women, and so she was fighting for that. She did window smashing and campaigns, and then in 1912 she was arrested and she was imprisoned. Her prison time became legendary. Women would march in the courtyard singing her song, and she would lean out of the window with her toothbrush and direct them. And there's a conductor by the name of Thomas Beechman, and he visited her in prison, and he was just amazed because she was truly directing, and they sounded great. And I think this was such a who she was. So she was an activist, but she was also such a musician, and so she's combining the two. This lady was a go-getter, and she was a game changer, and she was very awesome at a lot of things, but what she was not good at was being a Victorian lady. She dressed in tweed, she carried a walking stick, she spoke her mind clearly and directly, and she was fiercely independent. She was going to make her own money and find her own way. She didn't need a man. Like both Beethoven and Smetana before her, she also lost her hearing, but just like Smetana and Beethoven before her, she didn't stop her from composing. She continued to write music for quite a while. She continued to remain active and outspoken. In 1922, she was the first female composer to be awarded damehood, and this is a recognition that she long deserved. She lived well into her 80s. She continued to compose, she continued to write and advocate for women, especially women in music. And then in 1944, she passed away. Ethel Smyth's life was not merely the story of a composer. There's so much more to her. It's the story of this revolutionary spirit, and she fought family expectations, gender bias, legal barriers, and even the loss of her own hearing. She created operas, shook the British music establishment. She marched, she protested, she conducted women's choruses from her own prison window. And she actually carved out a space for women, where women could be both musicians and also where women could become leaders. Please go and listen to some Ethel Smyth.